Good morning. Welcome to All Souls Unitarian Universalist Church. I'm Kirsten Levitt, and I'm delighted to be your worship host and speaker today. We're so grateful to have each and every one of you here with us today, both live in the room and on Zoom. If this is your first visit here and you haven't yet had the opportunity, before you leave today, please sign our visitor's guest book. We'd love to be in touch with you. And there's an option for you to say no thanks for being in touch, but we'd love to know who was here with us in the room today. We're really proud to be a welcoming congregation. And in the spirit of welcoming and belonging, I invite you to look around the room and greet your neighbors and friends this morning. Anybody who is in the leadership of the church, would you please just raise your hand so folks know who you are? Thank you. You can find information about All Souls Greenfield in your pew packets and at the front entrance. So can I say hello to our friends on Zoom? Oh, welcome Ellen, Gary, and Christy. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We're very pleased to have Dr. Kit Johnson back with us doing our All Souls pickup choir. For those of you who don't know, the first Sunday of the month, the choir members or any singers who just want to come and sing that morning, we meet at 9:15, we practice what we're going to sing, we have fun together, and then we worship together here in this beautiful sanctuary with our voices and all of you. So now I invite you all to take a good, deep, cleansing breath. Breathe deeply. Come into the room. Be present. Be at peace. In the words of the Reverend Kathleen McTeague, we come together this morning to remind one another to rest for a moment on the forming edge of our lives, to resist the headlong tumble into the next moment until we claim for ourselves awareness and gratitude, taking the time to look into one another's faces and see communion, this house of laughter and silence, memory and hope, is hallowed by our presence here together. Let's take a few moments of quiet reflection while we listen to this morning's prelude. Thank you, Kit. Now, will you turn in your gray hymnal to 455 for our chalice reading? And Brock is going to come up and light our chalice. When you get there, we'll read together. 455. Blow out the candle, buddy. There you go. Terrific. Each morning, we must hold out the chalice of our being to receive, to carry, and to give back. I didn't hear you. Let's read that again. Each morning, we must hold out the chalice of our being to receive, to carry, and to give back. Oh, yeah. And now, if you will grab a teal hymnal, we're going to sing 1064, Blue Boat Home. They are scattered, so you may have to reach in front of you or behind you to get a teal hymnal, and it's 1064, Blue Boat Home. Oh, I see some of my favorite people have walked in the door as we sang you in, singing your favorite hymn. They're hiding in the back. This is the opening service after a hiatus that Unitarian Universalists take in the summers because ministers were farmers, and that has changed. But now what happens is that ministers tend to their flocks from September until June, go to the great convention, the General Assembly every year, held all over the nation in different places each year. They take a month off in July to rest, and they take a month off in August to do reading, preparing themselves to get ready for service to their congregation. All Souls Church does not have a minister in the pulpit. We are lay-led, and so full disclosure, not a minister, didn't take the month off of July for relaxation, didn't take the month off of August for reading or reflection. That happens every day for me, right? I have each and every one of you. And we are charged just as ministers to care for one another, to welcome one another. And at All Souls, as we gather in today, there's going to be a couple of different things that visitors may not know about. And so there's going to be a lot of guidance for me up here. So one of the things I like to do at each in-gathering is to remind our congregation members and guests that we have a mission statement. At All Souls, our mission is to welcome all who seek fellowship in our liberal religious tradition, to nurture the spiritual well-being of our children and ourselves, to show that people can transcend differences, to nourish and enrich one another in a common spiritual quest, and to provide information and opportunities for members of All Souls and others to act upon the issues of injustice and inequity. Now, I read this once a year, but in reality, every single week, we read our covenant together, and I'm going to invite you to do that now, because our covenant is a living document about the way in which each of us aspires to be, both in these walls and under this roof, and outside in the rest of the world as well. So I invite you now to read with me our covenant, which you can find in our order of worship. In this house, we covenant with one another to build our connections on a foundation of love, hope, and faith, to accept responsibility for our individual acts and work together to promote equality, justice, and peace, to stand on the side of love, embracing the liberation of oppressed minorities and championing all movements to end discrimination, to communicate with kindness and support, and to serve with compassion and commitment, to listen respectfully with an open mind and value our diversity as a source of communal strength, to learn together and grow together, generously sharing our time, talents, and treasures, to celebrate the joys of discovery, embracing the fullest measure of our humanity from the wonder of youth to the wisdom of age, to openly share our laughter and our tears, showing reverence for the divine in all that is. Each week we take up an offering, which gives us an opportunity to exercise the generosity of spirit that supports All Souls and its many ministries. We see this act of giving, of growing more generous in our hearts and in our actions, as essential to our spiritual well-being. The choir will sing an anthem, And our ushers will pass the collection boxes and will receive this morning's offering. Individually and together, we're building a world filled with peace and justice, love and joy. Each one of you, by your commitment of time, talent, and treasure, helps to make that grand vision real. I have lots of little readings for us today. This is from Langston Hughes. I've known rivers. I've known rivers. I've known rivers ancient as the world and older than the flow of human blood in human veins. My soul has grown deep like the rivers. I bathed in the Euphrates when dawns were young. I built my hut near the Congo and it lulled me to sleep. I looked upon the Nile and raised the pyramids above it. I heard the singing of the Mississippi when Abe Lincoln went down to New Orleans, and I've seen its muddy bosom turn all golden in the sunset. I've known rivers, ancient, dusky rivers. My soul has grown deep like the rivers. This morning, we are going to share water. And I've decided to do something a little different because our traditions are wonderful, and I want us to embody them both in the giving and the receiving today. So I invite you to bring your water from wherever you traversed during our hiatus this summer. And if you didn't bring your water, it's okay. I have good old Greenfield water, but I also have 5 years of the water that we've collected in a jar right here. So whichever water you'd like to pour into the communal bowl, that's fine. As you come up, I will have a microphone. If you want to say something about your water or about water, I'll have that microphone there for you. As you go away, please take a cup. It has water in it, not the ancient water. Well, technically it is ancient water. All water is ancient water, but not the water that was boiled and has come from all over the place and isn't filtered. There's regular water there for you to take. So here it is. Bring your water. So we're going to get in a line and we're going to come down. I'll have a mic. Pour water in. Take water back with you. Wait to drink. Okay? All right. Kit's going to play a little music. I got it. I pour some of our ancient water.
This water from our place in eastern Maine.
Take glass of water.
I haven't traveled this summer, but I give thanks for the gift of water.
This water is symbolic water from Nickerson Park on the Cape.
In grateful appreciation for water.
The water that runs in my blood vessels and keeps me alive. In here.
I am so grateful that the town of Buckland, where I live, has opened their new pool. And it is so fabulous. It's less of a lap swimming pool, but it's wonderful for just cooling off and my granddaughter came to visit and we spent the whole weekend going to the pool and it was so much fun. I have never had so much fun. And she just turned 5 and she started kindergarten. 5, yes, can you believe that?
Okay. She was born yesterday, swear to God.
Oh, we're pouring it here? Yeah. Hi, this is water from Tigard Lake in West Virginia. It's a beautiful lake, and we just really enjoy going there.
It's from the hills of West Virginia again, and it renews my soul. Thank you.
Is this where I pour? All right, this represents the chili at
Does this one work? Yes, it does.
Thank you. All right. Well, that water represents the chilly Atlantic waters off the beaches of Shelburne. And that's Shelburne, Nova Scotia.
Thank you. This water represents the water that connects us all.
It's Greenfield water.
Oh, it's okay. Yeah.
The rainwater that nourishes my garden.
This is water from Glendale Falls, the longest running waterfalls in Massachusetts. And it's a tribute to the fact that we're mostly water, and that of all the things that climate change could really affect is whether or not we get to still have waterfalls and fresh water, things we absolutely depend on.
This is water from Hi. This is water from North Leverett. It's deep well water. I appreciate the sacredness of water and how water has.
Battery's dying. Okay, we're going to use the stand mic. You turn this mic on.
Hello, hello. Oh, there it is. So, first thought, thank you, Kirsten, for that beautiful poem that touched me deeply. This water is from where the Pecumtuck Homeland Festival was gathered, and Native American have gathered for years. It's our own Unity Park, this water, and I'd like to just do just a quick little lagoon. It goes like this. If you'll just stop your piano just for 1 second, it goes like this. Oh, river, I hear you, feel you calling me. Oh, river, who will I be when I reach the sea? Thank you.
This represents Laurel, water from Laurel Lake, where I love to swim.
Machias, Maine, rural America at its best, where wild blueberries come.
Water from the hose at Grammy's house, where Lex played and played, and where all the plants and animals were nourished.
Here, Grammy. Good to see you, Lex.
This represents water from the Deerfield River, where I spent a lot of time this summer.
Take water. At the end of the year,
We all bring a flower, and we choose a flower that we didn't bring, and we look at the beautiful bouquet that we make as individuals, diverse in color, form, shape. And in the fall, we come together and we put and coalesce our water together, showing that even in our diversity, there's unity. May it be so. Rather than a big, long prepared sermon, I just have a few remarks that I want to share with you, and a few words not of my own. And I just want to warn you that every opening Sunday at All Souls Church also happens to be the fire muster for the Franklin County Fire Departments. And there will be a lot of sirens happening. And luckily, it's a cool enough day that all of our windows are closed. We may hear the dampened sounds of these beautiful sirens. These lifesavers who use water to take care of us. Amazing. I was thinking earlier, maybe we should just move this service to the next week. And it just doesn't make sense. It's a water communion, and we're celebrating lifesavers who use water as their tool. It's amazing. So I want to start with, I'm going to murder this person's name. It's 529, the stream of life, and it's Rabindranath Tagore. The stream of life, the same stream of life that runs through my veins night and day, runs through the world and dances in rhythmic measures. It is the same life that shoots in joy through the dust of the earth, in numberless blades of grass, and breaks into tumultuous waves of leaves and flowers. It is the same life that is rocked in the ocean cradle of birth and death, in ebb and in flow. I feel my limbs are made glorious by the touch of this world of life, and my pride is from the life throb of ages dancing in my blood this moment. Not quite a year ago, I went on a journey. It was a one-day journey, and it was a kind of a scary journey because it was all a mystery. I work with an amazing person who coaches me and has been coaching me for 4.5 years on how to be a better leader, more visionary, more collaborative, and how to actually manifest the things that I say I want, and also how to edit out all extraneousness, but also how to be a better human. And that person's name is Josh Hornick. So last year, right after Thanksgiving, he invited me to a full one-day one-on-one retreat with him to really dig into the 2 goals that I had set for myself at the beginning of the year. The first goal was more peacefulness, and the second goal was to be healthier. We spent 8 hours digging in. I mean, like, think about, coaching is not therapy, but it can be very cathartic like therapy. You think about digging in, and one of the ways in which Josh set my day and actually has allowed me to marinate for the last 10 months is in this graphic that I put in your order of worship. So I want you to look at it. I really want you to take it out and look at it. It looks just like this. He said, we are the ocean. We, the individual we, that's all the things that are inside of you that live in you, and we, the collective we, are the ocean. And in the ocean, we are made up of these three things: love, peace, and connectedness. We always are this. Always. We are never something other than this at our very core. We are always love, peace, and connectedness. But it's an ocean, right? And it gets pulled by the tides. It gets whipped by the weather. And so there are waves, and sometimes the waves are just normal little waves, and sometimes the waves are big waves, and sometimes the waves are cyclonic storms, and sometimes there are tidal waves that just wipe everything out. And if we spend more time in our depths, we will be more of these things: love, peace, and connectedness. And if we spend more time paying attention to the everyday things that make waves on our ocean, we will be unhappy, chaotic, unfocused, troubled. Now, don't get me wrong. Please don't misinterpret my message. I, for one, believe that you have to pay attention to climate science and social justice, and those are waves. But you have to pick which waves are going to be the most impactful, not just for yourself, but for one another in our connectedness. So you and I, all of us, because there's no us and them, there's just us, right? We all have the opportunity to be in this place of, oh, look, there's a wave. This awareness, in Kathleen McTeague's, when we open our service, she says, to resist the headlong tumble into the next moment until we claim for ourselves awareness and gratitude. This is our opportunity to remind ourselves at any given time that we can resist a headlong tumble, a rant, a tirade, a fight, a huge reaction that spills out into others, which I've been practicing for a couple of years now, trying to be less and less reactive and more aware and resisting the headlong tumble, that we will find more connectedness, more peacefulness, more love. So, for a minute, I want you to take that water. Where did I put my water? Oh. All right, you got your water? I could use a little sip of love. How about you? I'm going to take one. And now I think I'm going to take a little sip of peace. How about you? So nourishing. And I'm going to take a big gulp of connectedness, because this water is all of us. It's in us, through us, and all of us. I think that I want you to just take a moment and think about one word for those 3 little sips of water you just had, and shout it out. So I'm going to give you 10 seconds to think about your word, and then you're going to shout it, okay? Forward. Quenching. That was great. Thich Nhat Hanh says, water flows from high in the mountains, water runs deep in the earth. Miraculously, water comes to us and sustains all life. Water and sun green these plants. When the rain of compassion falls, even a desert becomes an immense green ocean. May it be so. May this year, here on your spiritual journey at All Souls, be filled with love, peace, and connectedness. Will you join us in singing number 1011 in your teal book, Return Again? And we're going to sing this in a round, and Kit's going to, do you want me to do this? You want to do it?
I'll do it.
Kit's going to tell us about how we're going to do it, okay?
You'll notice as you look at your hymnal that there are 4 lines, and lines 1 and 2 repeat. And then at the end of line 4, there is a repeat. So we sing 1 and 2, repeat it, 1 and 2, and then we sing 3 and 4, repeat it, 3 and 4. Then we go back to the top, and we start again. However, this is interesting, because we've got a lot of people over here and a few people over there. Okay, so this side, when you go back to the beginning, you're going to sing lines 1 and 2 over and over and over until I signal you to stop. As we finish the second time through, 1, 2, 3, 4, then we will sing 3 and 4 4 more times, and then you go back to the top and we finish with lines 2. Think we can do it? Yep. Give it a try. Okay. Thank you.
Now is the time in our congregation for sharing joys and sorrows. If you have a sorrow that needs the help of this community to carry it, or a joy so great you must share it, now is the time. You may share with the congregation. A microphone will be brought to you, or you can light a candle over there in the window. If you're sharing with the congregation, please know that this is not a time for announcements. That will happen after the service. And we share this time by being brief and caring for one another with our brevity. The very first joy that we have in this congregation is to have visitors amongst us. And so if you would like to introduce yourself during this time, we welcome that. It's definitely not a have to, but we just would love to welcome you officially. Now is the time for welcoming visitors and sharing our joys and sorrows.
Andrew Baker. Just wanted to share two joys. One, greatest garden ever this summer. Two weeks in Nova Scotia that I haven't had 2 weeks off in 17 years. So it was a wonderful rest with my wife, Andrea.
Thank you. I'm Joshua. This is my first time here.
Welcome, Joshua.
Hello. One thing that struck me is when the sirens were moving around and we were listening to the words, it reminded me of my mind, how I just was focusing, that was going on, and I was dialed in, so it was an interesting meditation. The joy I'd like to share comes from a book I just read. Mother Teresa wrote a book called The Simple Path, and it's filled with great things. But the thing that struck me was that she took her name from Saint Teresa of Lisieux, and the way Saint Teresa lived her life was to do ordinary things with extraordinary love. And from the talk earlier, which waves to pick, I find that simplicity keeps coming back to me, how if I let everything in that's going on in the world, it's a challenge. So if I can just focus on doing ordinary things with extraordinary love, that's how I get by. That's my joy today. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Josh.
Morning, my name is Link. My joy is just the memories of being here. Started in 1982, and my children were raised in this church. And the first Sunday of every September, at 11 a.m., all the bells and whistles would go off, and all the kids would run outside to watch the parade. It was just a great memory for me. Thank you.
I'm Maria, and so grateful for all the love that seems to be continuing to pop up in my life. Like when I moved here, I thought, oh, I'm going to miss everybody, but people like to visit here. So I've had a lot of visitors this summer. Got a chance to spend 4 or 5 weeks in Machias, Maine with my loved ones there. Won a beautiful quilt. Went to visit Sandra Boston, who has a new baby in her home, and so many things to be grateful for. So lots of joy and lots of blessings. I guess my sadness for the week, I pick one sad news thing for the week, is our precious children returning to school. May they be safe.
Morning, I'm Rob. Grateful to be back here after a long hiatus. During that time, they did a medical test and discovered that I had an irregularity in my pancreas, which was quite alarming and led to a more extensive medical procedure that I had this past Friday. And when it was done and I awoke from the anesthesia, the surgeon said that they found no reason to biopsy and that it was an abnormality. And I laughed and said, well, I've been abnormal my entire life. So if that's all it is, I'm relieved. And then I want to give a grateful shout out to several people in this sanctuary, starting with Maria and Patrick and also Sandra, who helped me, since I couldn't very well drive with anesthesia, to transport my friend Storm to a concert and to help me drive my car home from the concert. One of them drove, and I got to be chauffeured. So it's just great, the whole idea of connectedness, that when you really need it, it's so wonderful that you've got a whole group and a community that can come through for you.
Thank you, Rob.
I am just happy to be with you today and happy to come to this church because it's been really fun.
So following Joshua, I brought a book today. I've ordered 24 copies of this book at great expense. And this is a book called And Grandma Said. It's by Tom Porter, who's the spiritual leader of the Haudenosaunee, that's the Iroquois Confederation. And I've read this book. I mean, it's a big fat book. I've read it a couple of times, but it was just this last month that I read the chapter on pregnancy. I'd sort of skipped that, you know, I'm past pregnancy, so I didn't think I need to read that, and I finally read it. It wasn't about pregnancy at all. It was about how the Haudenosaunee build families that are connected and create a treasure place for babies. That the priority put is because when a woman gets pregnant, the man is also pregnant. They practice pregnancy together. And the relationships between the men and women in the Haudenosaunee are far more balanced. And the whole book is full of indigenous ways of thinking. And I've learned a lot, so much that, explored trying to connect the 12 Unitarian Universalist churches in Western Mass. And I want to have at least 2 books go to every church. So.
I have a joy and a sorrow that are all one thing. I will step into a building I've been going into for 23 years for the last time tomorrow. And that is a joy and a sorrow. So, yeah.
Morning, church. I have a couple of joys. First, a shout out for the Harvest Festival. What a wonderful thing. 1,000 people came, and I'm thinking about all the people that in many, many ways contributed to that. The other thing I'm thinking about is I went to the fair, and I had great time. Catherine says I'm like a little kid watching people doing a hot dog contest, trying to see how many hot dogs they can eat in 10 minutes, and I was lucky at the end, there was one left over, and I asked if I could have it, and they said yes. So good for Greenfield and our community. It's a wonderful thing. Thank you very much.
Anybody on Zoom?
I just want to light a candle for Margie Sobel's mother, whose name escapes me. She passed away 2 weeks ago. Huh? Harriet. Thank you, Harriet. And for all those sorrows and concerns that haven't been spoken, a candle, at least in our hearts, and one for all the joys unspoken. Let's see if we can share some energy. Let's be connected. So for those of you who haven't been in the room with me before, you can lift your hands up and dial in. You can feel somewhere, it'll feel in your palms, or maybe a little further down your arm. You can feel the energy in the room. And I'm going to hold you, and you're going to hold me. Here we go. Spirit of community in which we share and find strength and common purpose, we turn our minds and hearts towards one another, seeking to hold in our hearts the safety of our children. May every child be safe from any kind of fear or wrongdoing or harm. Towards the end of an era, 23 years of being in the same place, and now a new chapter, a beginning, a journey. For the passing of dear beloved loved ones, of family and friends. For collective pregnancy, which is mutual responsibility. For doing ordinary things with extraordinary love and focusing in on the world in our connectedness. For vacations and visits, for the greatest gardens and weed factories I've ever seen in the last 4 years at least. For the blessed memories of being a member of this congregation, its children, it's our church, our celebrations, and the county celebrations, and the Greenfield celebrations. For great medical news, and for the fact that medicine exists to help us know what's happening inside of us. For happiness, for being together, for reconnecting, for connectedness, for peace and for love. Let us open our minds and hearts to the place of quiet, to the silent prayer for the healing of pain, and to the soft, gentle coming of love. May it be so. Amen. Blessed be. Now, if you'll join in singing Prayer to Friends, which you will find as an insert in the gray hymnal. So Carolyn McDade. From the Inuit shaman Uvavnuk, trembling with joy. The great sea has set me in motion, set me adrift, moving me like a weed in a river. The sky and the strong wind have moved the spirit inside me till I am carried away, trembling with joy. Go in peace, create peace, be peace.
Antonio Carlos Jobim. Wave.
All right, friends. The cordless mics don't seem to be quite up to par today. So, right now, we're inviting you to have coffee and conversation and goodies, delights. Thank you so much to Kate Mason for putting that together. But right now, before all of that, before you go away to your amazing lives, we have announcements. Great lead up, right? So, Molly, I don't know that this cord will reach there. Can you come up, or? It won't go on. I've tried. I can't get it to even turn on. Oh, there you go. Okay. Yep, here comes a mic for you.
I just wanted to remind people the Social Justice Committee is meeting at 12:30 in the Minister's Studies, so I hope you'll join us. Thank you.
I want to announce that this is our 200th anniversary. This organization, the church isn't quite that old, but this organization is, and we're celebrating all year. So stay tuned for special events. Also, there's the church directory. If anybody didn't get one, in June at our last meeting, I have 2 copies, and I can get more phone numbers, addresses, etc. of us.
Mm-hmm. They can also ask you for one, and we can have one printed for you next week, right?
So the 200th day is not that far away, so you might want to start thinking about an expensive present, a card, something. We are also having a board meeting that'll happen the 3rd Monday of this month at 7:30. No?
No, didn't we make a plan to have our board retreat on Sunday, the 22nd?
I totally apologize.
Yeah.
I'm still under anesthesia, so I have an excuse. But even there, the time that we do have the board meeting, could you announce that and invite people to stick around if they'd like?
Yeah, I can do that. So the board holds an annual retreat, and we were going to meet Labor Day weekend, but David and I had the opportunity to go away to Maine, and we did. We took it. So the board retreat will happen at my house. I think it's from 12:30 to 5:30 or something like that, 4 Fairview Terrace. I just want to say, I meant to say that, and this is what happens when you just decide that you're building a skeleton. Happy 200th anniversary year to us, right? There's a lot that's going to be happening here, and there's a lot to plug into here, and there's a lot to tell your friends about for here. So the board will meet at my house, and we'll do some planning, but really the board is going to be totally focused on supporting the 200th anniversary committee, and there are a lot of people involved with that, and I just have to send so much gratitude to Kate and Russ for really getting these ideas generated. There's so many cool things that are going to come. The very first thing that I want to tell you about is that Annie Hassett, as part of the Interfaith Council, will be doing an evening of song, and that will be here on Thursday the 19th, right? At what time? At 7 p.m. So right here in this beautiful sanctuary that carries sound so gloriously, we are going to start celebrating our diversity and unity together through song with Annie. And then on the 25th, we're going to have 4 Israeli artist women here. They're 2 Muslim and 2 Jewish women who are going to be having a conversation here as well. So just in September alone, there are these 2 amazing events that are happening not on a Sunday. And so I want you to start availing yourself of this is a live, active, wonderful place to be, and we have something to share, and we create a space where people come and share, right? We are creating beloved community and connectedness. All right, I'll get off my stump. I'm still giving a sermon. I'm sorry. More announcements. Yeah. Don't worry, we got you covered.
Okay, so please come. It's going to be wonderful.
You want to come here?
Hi, my name is Russ. I'm often the greeter in the entryway on Sunday mornings. If somebody would like to join me and greet with me, please. And in case I can't be here some Sunday, if somebody could fill in for me. It's not rocket science, but, it's good to know some things, so thanks.
Just a couple of things. One thing is we deserve to offer several people here an awful lot of thanks for the things that they have been doing. One, of course, is Kate Mason and Karen Judd for organizing an event in Row, which is a 200th anniversary event, but But another one is not directly tied to the church, but it's for Kirsten, who the Harvest Festival would not have happened if Kirsten hadn't put the whole darn thing together. And that is, a huge gift to our area. I think they fed 1,000 people. We fed over 1,000 people. And how many people have you fed through the Stone Soup Café over the year? You calculated that.
So our numbers have been 600 plus.
A week.
A week. and rarely, and sometimes it dips a little, but almost never below 550. So between 550 and 6.25 every week. Last year we did 32,000 meals. This year we're on track to do 35.
Can you imagine that
Out of the basement here in the church. If you don't know about Stone Soup, it's operated in the basement level of this church. Oh, see.
If it hadn't been for the church, we wouldn't have the Stone Soup Café. That it created it, but as it got bigger and bigger and bigger, it's almost like the Stone Soup took over the church. And but Stone Soup has made a big contribution to the community very widely. And it's a regular program that is providing social service, but they go beyond that, which is to start training people into developing the food industry in our area. So it's workforce development. And so the church has made a big contribution to that, but we've also made a big contribution in the area of trees. We had a sort of failed opportunity to develop a tree group, but now that has blossomed. We had Mu Mao, who's one of the most famous people in the whole field, a Nobel Peace Prize, delivered the Nobel Peace Prize in 2007 for his work on forests. He's speaking in Ashfield this week on the 14th of September at the Ashfield Town Hall, and it'll be a dialogue among people who would back his pro-forestation program and the people who are really into cutting trees to make money. And the dialogue will go on there. I'm really, really interested myself. Unfortunately, on the very, very same day, when that starts at 1 o'clock, on the very same day, at noon, our sister church in Northampton is holding a giant massive election voter empowerment program presentation. And it's going to go from like 1 to 3. So they overlap. Why did they do that? I don't know. Why did the Interfaith Council come up with the Ashfield thing at the same time as the other thing? I don't really know. But I can just say that you have choices. And I'm doing both myself, a little of each. And this place is a amazing place. Amazing music. Thank you, Kit.
Thank you, Pam and Molly. And social justice meeting in a little while. Anybody's welcome. How about some coffee and carrot cake and fruits or vegetables?
I have a book set out here if you want resources.